is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be going over my massive May book haul. So I have way too many books to count. I ended up buying a few books for myself near the beginning of the month because I knew I wanted them. It wasn't very many, but then we had employee appreciation at my work, which means our employee discount is a little bit more than usual, and I went a little bit crazy. And then we had Phoenix Comic Fest. I will link that down below in case you guys would like to see it, because I did vlog a little bit while I was there, and I bought way too many self-published, independently published books, which is great. If you like those type of books or even the genres they're in, I would urge you to take a look at these because they do everything themselves pretty much. They might hire out editors and that kind of thing, but they're doing everything else by themselves without a publisher, and usually they have really, really good quality. But let's jump right on in because, again, this is probably going to be a long video. So we're going to start with the books that I purchased at the beginning of the month before all the craziness happened. And one of them was a pre-order. This is Love's Cruel Redemption by C.L. Stone. This is the, oh goodness, I think it's the 12th book in the Academy series. This is a self-published author who I started reading, I want to say 2 to 3 years ago. Absolutely love this story. It is a slow burn romance where there is a girl named Sang. Yes, her name is a little bit weird, but her name is Sang. And she has some problems at home, and there is a group of guys who end up helping her with her home life, but it turns out they might have some secrets. It takes a little while for this story to really get the action going, but the character and world building is absolutely amazing. This one just came out, I believe it was on May 28th or 29th. I have not read this yet. I am so happy to have it though. It is quite thick for one of her books. It varies a little bit between book to book. I think this is just over 400 pages. I just got this in my mail today, so I'm currently debating whether or not I want to do a reread of the series. I might not for this one. I did do a reread last time, and there's like 11 books before this. I believe the first book, which is called Introductions, is actually a free book that you can get as an ebook, either on Nook or Kindle, but again, I absolutely love this author. It is such a good story. It does have some trigger warnings that you probably need to be aware of, mostly with like abuse and that kind of thing. If you guys have any questions on that, just message me. I will answer any questions you guys have, but I absolutely love this series. The next one that, again, I did pre-order is Fence Issue 5. This is by C.S. Picot and Joanna the Mad. This is a series that I have talked about so much on my channel near the beginning of this year. The issues are now getting a little bit longer in between each one. It was originally supposed to be a 5-issue series, but I do believe they got signed on for, I want to say maybe 5 more, because I think issue 6 came out recently. But I have not read this one yet, mostly because I was doing a whole bunch of reading of other things and I didn't have enough time to just sort of sit down and pick this up. Even though it is a comics issue, it's probably like 20 to 30 pages. But I absolutely love the art style in this comic series. It is gorgeous. And this is a series that follows these boys that go to a private school and they are trying to get on the fencing team there. We are currently in the middle of like a round robin sort of tournament for them to get a place on the team. There is lots of tension between some of the characters here based on previous tournaments and that kind of thing. So I'm very excited to get into this one soon. And then I also purchased The Dire King by William Ritter. This is the 4th book in the Jacoby series. I read the entire series. Hi, honey. I read the entire series this month, and so once I got to the 3rd book, I had to pick up the 4th book. This is a series that is billed as a mix between Doctor Who and Sherlock. So it has a protagonist who is a female. She does a little bit more of the sleuthing than our other character, Jacoby, but he sees paranormal creatures, and so there's like a mystery in every single book. I really like this series. I will talk about these more in my wrap-up. Next, we're going to get into the books that I purchased at Barnes & Noble for my employee appreciation. The first ones that we have here is all 3 of the Young Avengers graphic novels / comics. So we have issue 1, Style Over Substance, issue 2, Alternative Culture, and issue 3, Mic Drop at the Edge of Time and Space. So this is a series that I have heard many good things about. I absolutely love the art style on these, and I've been getting more into like the MCU and everything, and even though this isn't quite the same, I have heard that this is a little bit more like young adult versions of comics, and so I really want to read these. I got them at a great price, and sometimes these are hard to get a hold of, so I'm glad I picked them up. And then I also have Day Hunter by Jocelyn Drake. This is the second book in the Dark Days series. The main reason I picked this up is I picked up, I think, 1, 3, 4, and 5 at the used book sale this February, and so I needed the second one. This is a vampire hunter sort of series, and I literally had to pick this up like as soon as possible because I checked through Barnes & Noble and they only had like 2 copies left in the warehouse total. So this was going to be one that was going to be really hard to find soon. So I picked this up. And then we also have Rosemary and Rue by Seanan McGuire. This is the first in the October Day series. This is a series with paranormal elements, I believe also fairies. I've heard many good things about this. Again, this is another one that is a little bit hard to find. They have some of her newer books in this series at the store, but not as many of the older ones. And since I've been wanting to read this for a while, I thought this was a good time to buy it so that I could start getting into the series. And then I also purchased the second and third book in the Broken Destiny series by Jeaniene Frost. This is the same author that does the Night Huntress series that I absolutely love, and so I wanted to purchase these. I already have the first one, even though I haven't read it because I'm naughty, but the second one is The Sweetest Burn, and the third one is The Brightest Embers. I am actually not entirely too sure what this is, and I mean that in like specifics. I know it's a paranormal romance trilogy, and so I'm very excited to pick these up soon. I absolutely loved her Night Huntress series, so I think there's going to be great things in here. And then I also purchased Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is the paperback version, which got a slight cover change, but I think it is super adorable. The main reason I picked this up is because I went to Phoenix Comic Fest this month, and so this and the next 2 books are pretty much all to do with like Comic-Con sort of things. This one here is a teen romance. I think it's a contemporary romance about a girl who goes to the sci-fi convention because she wants to meet, I think it's the actor in a sci-fi show, but she wants to try and get there before her stepsisters. I'm assuming there's going to be lots of Cinderella-y elements in here, but I've heard really good things, so I'm very excited for this one. Then I also purchased The Fandom by Anna Day. This is a darker sort of fandom story. The gist of what I've gotten in this is that she ends up going to a Comic-Con, but something ends up happening based on her favorite book, I think, and she ends up going into that world, but it's a book that has a tragic ending, so bad things could be happening in this. I've heard some good things about this, and by that I just mean that I haven't really heard too much about it, just a couple things, but what I heard was good and it looks amazing. This is one that has a gorgeous cover, but also, if you guys can see this, it has like stamped in like thorns, sort of like what was on the original cover. And so I'm very excited for this one. I actually am currently reading this. I just picked it up today and read it like on my lunch at work. So I'm only on chapter 2, which is page 14. I don't have an opinion formed on it yet, but I will let you guys know once I am done. And then I also picked up Ship It by Britta London. This is another sort of Comic-Con-y story. This follows Claire, who is a very big fan of a show and ends up going to a panel with one of the main characters from it and asks him a question about shipping, and I think it's also an LGBTQ type of shipping question, and he says something that could not like that is not necessarily positive. And so because of that, the show wants to up their popularity again and like sort of reclaim their image. And so they invite Claire on the tours that they're going on to sort of help revamp their image. I'm pretty sure this is an LGBTQ romance between these girls here as well, so I'm very excited about this one. This is another one that has an absolutely gorgeous cover. Like, it reminds me of all like the cosplay stuff that you see at Comic-Con, and it is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Next, we're going to be moving into the books that I picked up at Phoenix Comic Fest. The first two books that I have here I did not purchase. They were free and an author signing through some sort of book setup there. So I've received Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel, and we do have it signed here. I have the hardcover of this first book that I have not read yet, but I do really want to. It sounds very interesting. It's like a sci-fi story where people find parts of these like giants, I think, buried on the planet. And this here is going to be a very good travel size edition because I absolutely love the cover of the hardback, but sometimes I don't like carrying the really big hardbacks in my purse when I go to like work and that kind of thing, so this is perfect. And then I also received The Bear and the Nightingale. This is by Catherine Arden. This is their mass market sort of, I guess, giveaway book of it because I do not believe this is the original cover, but this is something that I don't know if it's real life or if it's fantasy, but it has to do with Russian fairy tales, so I think that is going to be amazing. And again, it is signed, so really cool. I'm glad I have those. Now we're going to be going into the independently sort of published books. The first one here is Tanabata Wish. This is by Sarah Fujimura. I did read this one already this month. I will get into that more in my wrap-up, but this is an independently published book that follows our main character of Skylar, who is an American Caucasian girl. It's the summer before her senior year of high school, and her family are going to Japan to live for, I think it's like 60-something days, because her mom has some sort of exchange program with the university she teaches at. Skylar is not very happy about this because she wanted to live the typical American girl dream of like working for the summer, getting new clothes, dyeing her hair, that kind of thing. But Skylar's family is mixed race. Her mom is white, and then her stepfather is Japanese, and her two younger siblings are half and half. This is written by an American Caucasian woman who is married to a Japanese man, and they have two half children. So I am hoping that this has good representation in it. I did read it. I enjoyed it well enough, and this is one of those ones where it sounds like a contemporary romance, and it does live up to that hype. It also is an honorable mention for the Freeman Award for 2017, which I had to look up because I wasn't entirely sure what that was, but it sounds like it is an award for children and young adult books that deal with the cultural representation of Southeast and Eastern Asian countries. So I will talk more about my feelings on this in the wrap-up, but this was one that I picked up. I also picked up A Weapon of Magical Destruction. This is the first book in the Agents of Asset series. This is by Katie Salidas. I was told that this is sort of a sci-fi book, but it also deals with magic. I am going to be really bad at these summaries right now because I bought so much within like 2 days and I don't remember everything. However, it sounded really good. It was a brand new one from this author. Again, these are independently published, and it has something to do with a girl who signed up for the ASSET program, which on here says it's the Anonymous Supernatural Security and Elimination Task Force. So I feel like this is going to have lots of action. It is a young adult book, so I'm very excited about this. I also really love when there's like little swaggy things when you purchase books that are from independent authors, because we did get an ASSET like name tag. They had 2 girls and 2 guys for the name tags while we were there. I had a really hard time choosing, so I let the author sort of point me in a direction of which one, and she said this is one of her favorite characters in the book and to write, and so I decided I had to pick it up. Also, by the same author, I picked up Pretty Little Werewolf. This is billed as a cross between Pretty Little Liars and Teen Wolf. This, I'm told, is about this girl here, and who I believe is a werewolf, but she is like a foster child, so she doesn't really have a pack or a home, and this is more a book series because I think there are 2 other books in the series about her trying to find her home. And I absolutely love found family like tropes and that kind of thing, so I had to pick it up. Also, I just absolutely love this cover, and this was another one that had a little bit of swag. We got to pick out a bookmark. This one I picked out to go with this book here. Beautiful colors. Also, it's one of those nice metal ones, so that's perfect. Everything that I purchased that is independently published is signed as well, I'm pretty sure. So like this one is signed, and this one is also signed, and I think also Tana Bought a Wish is signed. Yes, it is also signed. The next 2 books I picked up were by Neo Edmond. This is a Red Riding Hood retelling, sort of. They take elements from it, but she is a werewolf, and she, I believe, is also a hunter of other supernatural creatures or other bad werewolves or something like that. I absolutely love the idea of this. The author was doing a sale at the end of Comic-Con as well, so I got bought one book, got one free. This is the first one here. We do have Rise of the Alpha Huntress, and then we also have Fate of the Big Bad Wolf, so I'm very excited for these ones. And again, these are going to be signed as well. The next 3 books I purchased were by Jacob Devlin. This is in a series. I was trying to be really good while I was at Comic-Con and only purchasing like the first in a series or something like that so I could make sure I really liked it. However, the last one was a buy one get one free, so obviously I had to. And this one here, these are limited edition covers, as in the fact that they're going to another publishing sort of company and they're redoing the whole covers. I wasn't gonna pick up just one and then have the other ones in different covers, especially since I think these are gorgeous as well. But the first book here is The Carver, the second one is The Unseen, and the third one is The Hummingbird. These are also sort of fairy tale retelling, maybe not retellings. These also have fairy tale elements. The first book, I'm just going to go into the summary of this one pretty much because I don't entirely know about the rest, but this is about a boy whose, I think it was a friend and mother went missing a few years ago, and then his father goes missing. He has a best friend who thinks he's Peter Pan and thinks that our main character is the son of Pinocchio. The author said there's going to be, I think, Alice showing up from Alice in Wonderland, and so this is sort of a mystery thriller, I'm pretty sure, with a young adult protagonist who is probably a fairy tale creature. I heard that this is very similar in some elements to Once Upon a Time, which I absolutely loved. I do believe they go to Wonderland in The Unseen, so I'm just very excited for these as well. And then this first one came with a bookmark, but also they are going to be signed. The next book I purchased was Pierced by Venom by Jen Windrow. This is actually the second book in the series. However, this is one of those series where each book follows a different main character and love interest. I do believe these are paranormal romance ones. And the second one was the one that got my attention the most. Apparently the main character, or the main element that is shared between all 3 books in this series is that Eros is a main character. Like, these are sort of based in mythology. So we'll just go here. The first one was Struck by Eros, then we have Pierced by Venom, and then we have Pricked by Thorns. This one here reminded me more of like the hate to maybe lovers sort of trope. Also, there is like an underworld because somebody dies sort of thing. So I'm feeling like this is more of like, if it was going to be compared to mythology, maybe like a Hades and underworld sort of vibe. I heard that this one is the most tame in the whole like sexual part of the romances, which is actually more up my alley than the other part. So I am perfectly fine with that. But I just really liked the summary of this one more than the other 2, so I figured this was a good one for me to start off with, make sure I liked this author before I purchased the other ones. However, she also did have a different series that I purchased. I think there's only one book out in it right now, but this is Evil's Unlikely Assassin, also by Jen Windrow. I've heard that this is similar to sort of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer sort of things. Not exactly, but this one follows a main character who is Alexis. And apparently she ended up signing some sort of contract with an angel where she is no longer human. So in order to become human again, every single night she has to hunt down either like one vampire or one werewolf or one other sort of big bad creature for 50 years in order to become human again. I do believe this also has paranormal romance elements in it, so I'm very excited for this. And again, these books will be signed by her as well. Now we're getting into the graphic novel section of my Comic-Con purchasing. And so the first one we have here is Niobe, She Is Life. This is written by Sebastian Jones and Amanda Stenberg. Yes, that is the person from The Hunger Games and all of the teen movies that are out right now. Apparently, they saw Sebastian Jones' previous series about this because there are technically a couple books before this, and they really liked this character, so they helped write the book and they sort of based this off of them as well, like the art of this like cover, which is absolutely gorgeous. I loved the art style in here a little bit more than the two books that are supposed to be before this one, so I picked this one up. I'm gonna read this one, see if I like it, and then I might go and read the other two ones as a prequel, which seems to be pretty good for this because they did say at the booth that I bought this at that they're trying to get this as a, I think it's some sort of TV show or something like that, and they're gonna actually do Niobe first, and then if they get the chance to do the other books, they're gonna do them as a prequel anyway. But I am absolutely excited about this. This one also had a, like the first issue and a special cover for Comic-Con. I did get this signed, as well as here by Sebastian Jones. But this is about Niobe, who is half human and half elf, and apparently she is sort of not, I don't know how to say this, the messiah of this world. She is going to be helping save everybody if she can get through, I guess, her early young life. And so this sounded really good. The first two books in the series were more gritty and like not really thriller, horror-y, thrillery, like a thriller, crime thriller almost. And that was not up my alley as much as this one, so I'm very glad I have this. And then I also purchased Monster Elementary, as well as the second book, Monster Elementary and the Egyptian Curse. This is by Nicholas Doan and Conan Grawl, I think. So this is a series about like the classic movie monsters, but as kids in like an elementary school. It just looked super adorable. And so I just had to pick it up. Again, I did get this signed up here by the author. That is one thing I absolutely love about going to these Comic-Cons and everything, is you get to actually meet the people that do the books, and this is like my life. I love the books. So I'm super excited for this one as well. And then I also purchased Silver by Stephen Frank. Apparently the author is also, I believe, the artist on this as well, and they also helped do some of the art for the Iron Giant movie. This is not typically a type of book that I would normally pick up. However, the person at the booth was very convincing about this. This is a vampire hunter sort of book. The art style is not even something that I would normally pick up, but I love supporting these sort of independently published authors, and so I'm hoping this will be really good. I'll let you guys know as soon as I read that. And then I also picked up Pixie Dust. This is by Russell Nohelty and Nicholas Torres. This is a hardcover book. I believe this one is more of a graphic novel for sure, not a comic, because the author wrote it all as one thing. And I got some sort of signature there. This is one of the funniest signatures I've seen. But this is about a pixie who I think either died or had somebody killed in her family, because she ends up going on a revenge murder quest, and it just seems like a really, really fun ride, so I had to pick this up. And then the last 3 books that I picked up were all from the same table, so we're gonna go through these. The first one I have here is Humbug. This is by A.J. Gentile. I think this is a fantasy, maybe semi-steampunk retelling of A Christmas Carol. I don't know, the art style and cover just were absolutely gorgeous. I had to pick it up. They had a really good deal at this table. I almost dropped that. They had a really good deal at this table where you could buy 3 graphic novels for the price of 2, so you pretty much got 1 free, so I pretty much had to do it. This one sounded very, very interesting, and this is a whole complete series right here. I believe there were some issues in it, so it should be a comic, but this is the whole thing, so I'm very excited about that. The next one I picked up is Neverland Volume 1, so they will have more volumes out on this if I like this one, and this one was by Stephanie Sailors. This is a retelling of Peter Pan set in London with some more fantasy elements to it. I mean, it's a dark fantasy version of it. I have no idea how crazy it's going to get, but I'm super excited. From what I have heard, I think this is Wendy and Peter up here with Wendy down here, and this is going to be our Captain Hook, so I'm very excited about this. Again, the art style is absolutely gorgeous. And then I also picked up Stained. This is by David Barron. This, again, is a complete book here. However, I was informed at the booth that they are going to have a second volume in this series, but it's going to be like a different story set in the same world. So this one, I believe, is a little bit more unique. It's not like a retelling of anything, but we do have some science fiction sort of elements here. Our main character is part human, part machine. That's what it says on here. So like a cyborg. And again, the art on this is really, really good. It's very dynamic. I'm very excited to read this. And then this one, the author was at the booth, so I did get a signature actually on the cover, which is a little bit different than like when they do it on like the actual title page, but absolutely love this. And then also the booth that I got those last 3 ones at had swag as well, which is just amazing. So we do have a Stained poster, which I believe he did sign at the bottom as well. We have a Neverland poster. Again, I just love the art and the colors on this. It's gorgeous. Last but not least, we have a Humbug poster. I just absolutely love these things. Absolutely gorgeous. I think we're done. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but that is everything I bought in May. I went a little bit crazy, but again, I was doing really well. I only had like 4 things, I think, before the whole employee appreciation and Comic-Con thing. So after that, it just exploded. But I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these or if you're interested in knowing more about any of them. I'm gonna link all of the authors, especially the independent ones, down below so you guys can take a look at their work. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I have new videos up every Monday and Thursday, so I will see you then. Bye!